Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video, and today we are returning to the world of artifacts, but we are playing Dimir or blue-black artifacts because one of the new cards from Aetherdrift is Demonic Junker, a 7-mana vehicle. It's a 4/3 and when it enters, for each player destroy up to one target creature that player controls. If a creature you control is destroyed this way, put 2+1/+1 counters on this vehicle, and it has crew 2, but it does have affinity for artifacts, so often we can pay this, we can cast this for a lot less than the 7. Another new Aetherdrift card we are playing, although obviously not that new by this stage, is Oildeep Gearhulk, a 4-mana 2 blue, 2 black, 4/4 lifelink ward 1. When it enters, look at target player's hand. You may choose a card from it. If you do, that player discards that card, then draws a card. So this is doesn't necessarily target your opponent. We can target ourselves, discard a land and draw an extra card. Or if we do want to target our opponent, obviously we can take out the best thing in their hand and hope they don't draw into something equally as good. There is always that risk. And a 4/4 lifelink and ward 1 is very, very strong. And that ward 1, you'd be surprised how often that makes a little bit of difference. We are still playing, obviously, the main artifact mechanism of Simulacrum Synthesizer. 3-mana artifact. When it enters, scry 2. That's really good. When another artifact you control with mana value 3 or greater enters, create a 0/0 construct. This token gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. And obviously the Gearhulk is 3 or more, and so is the Junker, even if we pay 1 less. We're also playing Repurposing Bay, and this is one of the bits of a tech of the deck. Repurposing Bay, 3-mana artifact, so it triggers a Synthesizer. Then we can pay 2 and tap it, sack another artifact, search a library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrifice artifact's mana value, put that card in the battlefield, then shuffle, activate only as a sorcery. So even if we play the Junker for 1, 2 or 3 or however many, it's still a 7-mana artifact. So if we sacrifice the Junker to Repurposing Bay, we can get a Cityscape Leveler, just 8 mana, 8/8 of trample. It says when we cast a spell, whenever it attacks, destroy up to one target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a tapped Power Stone token, and it has Unearth 8. Unearth means we can play it from a graveyard. It gains haste, and then we exile it at the end of our end step, beginner end step. So because that's Card Striker, we won't get it if we get it with the Repurposing Bay, but obviously having an 8/8 on the battlefield, sometimes as early as maybe turn 4 or 5 is very powerful. And then the Leveler's 8 mana, and we can sack that if we need to get Portal to Phyrexia, an absolute bonkers card. When it enters, each opponent sacks 3 creatures of their choice. At the beginning of our upkeep, put a target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under our control. It's a Phyrexia in addition to its other types. So if we sack the Leveler to Portal to Phyrexia, sack the Leveler to Repurposing Bay to get Portal to Phyrexia, then we can just get the Leveler back with Portal to Phyrexia or a creature in our opponent's graveyard. So that's a really, really powerful combo of going up the ladder. And unfortunately, we don't have any 6-mana artifacts which would allow us to get Demonic Junker. I'm actually not sure if there are any. Maybe something like Nexus of Becoming, because we do have Memory Guardian, which is an affinity for artifacts, which we played in the previous deck for 5. So we could maybe scale this up to, say, Nexus, up to Junker and carry on. So it's rounding out the deck. Braided Net, 4 copies. We can tap it to tap an opponent, creature an opponent controls, and then we can craft an artifact for 1 in the blue. And then Braided Quipu we can pay for and draw a card for each artifact we control. Then this artifact gets put into our library, 3rd from top. 2 Maze Mind Tone, 4 Tyrant Blade as our removal. It's an artifact, so obviously matches up with what our artifact synergies. We do have 3 steps ahead to counter spells, or maybe create a copy of a Synthesizer. That'll count as it coming into play, so it'll trigger Synthesizer. And 2 copies of a Ghost Vacuum. 1 is an artifact, so it does help our artifact synergies, but also, there is the Omniscience combo deck in standard at the moment, and there's also the Apple and Oculus decks in standard, so being able to exile those from graveyards really powerful. And if we don't need it, we can repurpose this up to a Tyrant Blade or a Maze Mind Tome, and we repurpose them up to probably a Synthesizer, but maybe like a Braided Net or another Repurposing Bay. We probably won't need that. And then mana base, as you would expect, islands, swamps. We've got a couple of Darksick Shores. We don't want too many tap lands in the late game. 4 Gloom Lake Verge, 1 Restless Reef, 3 Undercity Sewers, and then 4 Underground Rivers. So that's the deck. A artifact deck with a black removal theme. So hope you'll enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. Well, another slow hand, but all our hands are pretty slow. Need more artifacts. That is an artifact. I'm going to play out the braided net and the ghost vacuum because we can tap down the preacher. Well, I imagine they take the junker. They don't? Okay. Do we have another one? No, just a fairy mastermind. Now we can turn the junker into a cityscape leveler. Completely forgot to tap down the preacher there. Yeah, I could see that coming.
Information is its own weapon.
Well, yeah, let's turn the junker into a cityscape level. We don't give a trigger because it is a cast trigger. And I think we just hold up. This town ain't big enough. Obviously, they tap down Cityscape Leveler.
My eyes are as sharp as my sword.
So let's play out the Fairy Mastermind again. We get our portal. Kaito is getting annoying. Let's pick up a ghost vacuum. Fair enough.
Now I know your weakness.
Let's repurpose in Bay Ghost Vacuum. Into a Maze Mine Tome. And let's play out Gearhulk. And we will look at their hand. These don't do anything. I'm going to take the Floodbitch Drowner. They can take Cavern back for something. Yep. I assume they take the Tithing Blade. They do. Oh, they've got 2 Deep Cavern Bats. You don't have many good attacks. So you can attack with the Mastermind.
Control the fight. Control the outcome.
They do get in. We'll get a Preacher. So I think we repurpose in Bay. Maze Mine Tome into a Synthesizer. Oh, Keeper this town ain't big enough. We'll take the Anoint. And I have to attack, essentially, to gain life.
Really,
Did they just draw another one? That makes sense. So they're going to draw a lot. Da, da, da. Let's craft this. Because it does get us another... And this might seem weird, but I'm going to bounce my Quipu so we get it back in hand. And we can attack in and gain 8. And you'd imagine that should be game. You'd hope so. You'd hope after all this our opponent hasn't knocked out. Does that mean they've got a board wipe?
I've got this.
They could have flashed in Enduring Curiosity as well. I imagine they put a stun counter on Seascape Leveler. Yeah, it's kind of annoying that you got to scroll down.
Take a break, will ya?
That doesn't do it though. Even if they found something on top, they couldn't have drawn it. Yeah, yeah, a long game and quite a close one. But yeah, Oildeep, Gearhulk, and we saw the upgrading from Cityscape Level into Portal for Extra. Unfortunately, our Cityscape Level didn't get to attack again after getting it back because it just kept on getting stunned. Oh, if Rob a graveyard up against a graveyard deck, we're in luck. Well, we're not up against a graveyard deck. Well, I ain't gonna play anything into open mana. It does suggest it might not be a counterspell deck. It is just a blue-red prowess deck. Well, let's try and get Repurposing Bay down. Is this only sorcery speed? Yes, it is. Actually, no. We'll do it next turn. We'll hold up this town, ain't big enough. I'm very confused about what they're doing. I'll keep a Memory Guardian. So I've only got 1 mana left. Yeah, and we can hold up. This town ain't big enough. What else you have? A few on summons or something? I keep on hovering over constructs. Glad we kept it up now. And yeah, we attack with 3 10-10s. No, 11 11s I think it would be. And yeah, it's more than enough. Opponent goes first. This is a slow hand. But if we draw the third land, we are good to go. Come on, opponent. There is a third land. Ideally, we want to play Synthesizer first, but depending on what we're up against, we may get out the braided net first to tap stuff down. I imagine they have get losts. Yeah, we need land. They're going to draw a lot of cards. Well, let's braided net. Create a big one. And we can tap down the Enduring Innocence if we want to. The next turn, I think we're going to be able to play out our entire hand. And yeah, if we play out Memory Garden number 1, Memory Garden number 2, that reduces the cost of our Demonic Junker to 1. We can play out both of those. And our constructs are going to be very, very big. We go first. You can maybe turn a Repurposing Bay Ghost Vacuum into a Tithing Blade or a Maze Mine Tome. But yeah, Synthesizer's good. I wonder if they're playing a... You know, I might as well keep that. Krenko maybe to give him haste? I think it is a Krenko deck. Which means we can hold up 3 steps ahead. And if they don't play Krenko, we can just copy the Synthesizer. That seems to have broken our opponent. Oh, maybe it's not Krenko. Yeah, that doesn't really bother me. I imagine they give the Crusader haste. Don't think we need another repurposing bay. I'm going to take 6. Actually 7. Let's get a... Their ball's too wide really for Tithing Blade. But this way we can scry a couple of times. Let's put stop, and yeah, our opponent scoops. We scry a couple of times, play another repurposing bay, get 2 more, I don't know, 10/10s will they be? And hopefully we draw something like a Junker or a Memory Guardian, which will help us just go even more wide. Hello Magic fans, and welcome back to the wrap-up. So I did quite like this deck. I think blue-white is undoubtedly the colour pairing if you want to play this kind of artifact deck. Get out big things with Synthesizer, because you've got things like Assimilation Aegis, which is a 3 mana and removal spell, and you've got the new Nesting Bot and Mendicant Guidelight Court, which can double up your artifacts, even though it is only 2 mana. I do really like Demonic Junker. Affinity for artifacts in black is not that common. You do often get a few black artifact creatures, because like the idea is they're like zombies mixed with machinery, especially when we had stuff in Phyrexia or with the Phyrexians. But yeah, there's not a huge amount of black artifacts or artifact creatures at the moment, so it is a bit weird that you've got Demonic Junker with affinity. Obviously blue's usually the affinity colour, and there is in fact another card from Aetherdrift with affinity, which I was going to put 1 in but couldn't fit it in the end. Yeah, Gearseeker Serpent, a 7 mana 5/6. So it could have acted as the same kind of thing as Demonic Junker, of ramping up with up to Cityscape Leveler using Repurposing Bay, but obviously the Junker's a lot better because it does act as removal as well. And it's another reason why blue-white is so good is Voyage Home. You know, drawing 3, gaining 3 for potentially 3 mana. 2 mana is really good. I did actually play it in the version I played. I will have a look at it again and maybe do Esper, white, black and blue, so we can fit in Demonic Junker as well, and maybe Oildeep Gearhulk, because Oildeep Gearhulk is fantastic as well. So that's the deck. I did really enjoy it. I do quite like playing artifacts and affinity to artifacts. In one of the games, I think our opponent scooped, but as I was about to play out 2 Memory Guardians and 2 Demonic Junkers with 4 mana, it would have been something. So really enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed it too. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video.